Hello everyone, I'm Abhay Sudhir, and together with Shalom and Lijo, we welcome you to the Echo of 21K, a podcast brought to you by the students of 21K School, India's first online-only school. This is the second episode in the series Behind the Scenes with the Founders. We proudly introduce our esteemed guests for the episode, Mr. Joshi Kumar, the CTO of 21K School, and Mr. Dinesh Kumar, the CMO of 21K School.
Mr. Joshi has completed his master's in computer science from the National University of Singapore and has pursued a 10-year-long career in the tech industry.
And Mr. Dinesh has completed his master's in computer science from the University of Southern California with over 7 years of experience as a developer and an architect. And he believes that technology can be a boon if used consciously. Hello, Mr. Joshi and Mr. Dinesh, and welcome to the Echo of 21K. It's an honor to have you both here. So how are you doing?
Guys. Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. So how are you both doing?
Very good.
How are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's begin with the business aspects of 21K School. So Mr. Joshi, we would like to know from you how the idea of 21K School was born.
So Dinesh and me, we go a long way back. We always had passions of starting something when we were young, and then all of us we both immigrated from outside of India, and then he went to US. I came to Singapore. We always thought of starting something, but we were never sure in which industry. So Dinesh had an idea of starting a school, and we're back in 2019. There were works of full swing in an actual school. Then we thought, why not bring a synergy between what we have done or what our backgrounds are, and then put together and have a vision of what the future could look like. And that's how the idea of 21K School came in. We never intended to be it to become this big, but the idea just probably started from there. Over to Dinesh, if you want to add anything there.
Yeah, same thing. Like way back in early 2019, late 2019 is when me, Santosh, Joshi, and Yashwant got together. We were planning to start an actual school, and then we started works for it. And then we thought, okay, we being the technology guys, right? Like, how can we get it into a sort of environment where we can take education to other corners of the country, right? Like, there's only you can, if you build a physical school, you can cater only to a few set of students or set of a market. So we wanted to take it to like every part of India. So that's the idea behind starting 21K School. And we started it off as a small thing, and then it grew as we went along.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, great, sir. And Mr. Dinesh, how do you promote the idea of an online-only school like 21K to parents, as it is a fairly new concept?
So how do you promote? So it's more of like, obviously I should be honest here, like COVID is one thing which kind of helps us grow. And the other thing is like, we provide, as COVID hit, right? Many students, many parents, if you see the physical actual existing schools, they try to take the classes through Zoom, and it's not a very collaborative environment for students and for the parents, right? So what we did is we try to get in the technology and our LMS into the play, and that's how we promote. It's not like any online school; it's personalized education, and we are trying to give each and every student. It's not like a webinar, or it's not like there's no interaction with the teachers. It's every teacher gives personalized education and personalized interaction with the students. So that's what 21K School is apart from any other school, and that's the major part parents like with us also.
Cool. So, Mr. Joshi, how long did it take to plan and implement the idea of 21K School? For example, planning the platform.
To be honest, I would say that without failures is not something that we have gotten today, and there were lots of ups and downs. Last year, when we had 300 students, you won't believe the first few days or the first few weeks, we literally systems collapsed, right? And then we used to literally send class links to the students, right, to the parents. This was way back, and that was sophisticated at that point in time. Then gradually we implemented. And at a point, we had our parents tell us saying, my kid is just in the first grade, and without any of my assistance, he's able to come onto our platform, with just 3 clicks. So we something that I'm proud of in 21K is that we call a 3-click rule. The moment you log in, within 3 clicks, you can start a class. You can go to a class and join, and that is not across any other LMSs that you have, right? So that is something that we're proud of. And I would believe that now, if you look back, it probably took us quite a while to stabilize, to build. And the platform, if you see, it's very well integrated, right? So from Zoom, from any other external applications that are integrated within our platform, there's an underlying architecture built to it. There's an underlying framework done to it. So all this took time, took refinement of to run. For example, if you're taking Code Monkey, right? There's no login credentials required. So that's built on LTI, learning technology interoperability technology. So things like that usually takes time, but I think that's a learning curve with any technology or anything in life that you learn, right? That with the learning curve, you get to improve yourself. So looking back, I would say that now if I have to build any technology like this, now that I've got all the knowledge, I would say probably a couple of months, but back then it was probably 4-5 months for me to understand that.
Well, through all of this, through all the setbacks, through all the problems that you faced, how did you keep the crew at 21K motivated, Mr. Joshi?
Okay, probably I think I think it this way, that no one knows all the answers. And as a leadership and someone as who's looking forward for answers, it's important that you give them the direction. You might not have all the answers upfront. So it was important for me to give my team an appropriate, for example, just to take an example, right? So last year we had 300 students. This year we had 3,000. So at the start of academic year, the first day was a mess, right? So it was a hell. I vary like a badge of honor, right? So I speak about our failures a lot than our success. And the first day was a mess, right? And a lot of people coming, looking forward to the start of the class. Me and Dinesh, we always used to discuss, no matter of how much we plan, there's always something that can go wrong. So, and that day, you won't believe we had around, flurry of calls from parents. Of course, understandably from their point of view that, we were looking forward for the schools to start, and my kids, they've all dressed up well and ready. They have set aside the books. Now they're not able to, actually attend the classes. So things like that we don't anticipate. Now I don't have an answer how the systems are going to react. How we had a massive request. We had a massive traffic coming to our website, which we did anticipate, but we didn't anticipate to that extent. So and then at that point in time, it was important for me to take a decision whether we cancel the class. So that decision has a huge impact, and I cannot give that, delegate that decision to anyone else, but just me. So me, Dinesh, we decided, okay, probably this is the best course of action instead of, having up and down. Then we decided, okay, let's get this communication across. There was a lot of calls. So we told our technical team, our teachers, saying that classes stand canceled today. So that was, I think, one important, I think I always look back, right? So I always look back and always look for that day one. So I think it's important to get that communication across to your team so that they are well aware. So most important is the communication. That I think is the number one in my way of leadership. Yeah. Dinesh, anything that you would add there?
Yeah, I think the same thing. And also it's with the leadership, right? Like be it Joshi, Yashwant or Santosh, right? They are very transparent in what they operate. And we are very clear with what, even with the teachers or anyone, we kind of establish this is what we are going to do. This is what is the action item. So that kind of helps everyone. Like, it's not like we are blindsiding anyone or the people don't know what. So it's this clear roadmap and clear information given to everyone. So that way it kind of, everyone is motivated. That's the whole point here. Even when Joshi was talking about that first day of outage, right? Yeah, it was, we all got sat together. We figured out what was happening, and it took us a day to fix it, but it takes some time, and being transparent, it kind of helps in all these things. And we had a chat with teachers saying that tomorrow the class will be all right. And then in fact, Yashwant also sent out an email telling apologies to the teachers, in fact, and told them that next day the classes will start. So that kind of motivates the teachers also, right? Where they're informed about what the failure was.
Yeah, for sure. So In the future, where do you see 21K school heading? Dinesh sir, if you would like to go first.
In the future, I would say we should be taking it to like now we have around 3,200 students. I would say we should at least have like 40,000 students coming in the next 2 years. That's the plan, at least what we have set ourselves to, and taking it to more parts, more countries, and like taking it to places where it's not accessible. Education is not accessible to. Currently, we operate in most of the metro cities. We want to take it to non-metro cities and take it to other countries where we can operate on and get more students into the platform and provide education to them. That's the whole vision of 21K school, right? Taking education to every corner. At least that's what I believe in, and that's what our leadership team believes in, and that's where our end goal is. Joshi, you can say.
I think I have a similar take. I always believe, I always say this to any of my friends or who I meet. Think it like Uber, right? When Uber came, my parents were dead against it, right? So it's not about dead against it. They wouldn't trust anyone coming to their home to pick them up and then take them somewhere they want to go. It was completely unheard of in India back in 2012, when we had Ola and Uber. But think now, right? It's ubiquitous. Everywhere you go, you have a service. So I think that is what we are intending to do for education, right? So yes, when you bring something new, when you bring something revolutionary, people may not be willing to take it. I take an example of my father as well. So till now, probably a few years back, he wasn't really interested in internet banking or things like that. He used to tell me, can you send funds to them? And then I sat with him, I explained him, I taught him. It's the user journey, it's the customer education that I would say, advocacy. Then you need to tell them that something like this exists and something benefits are there. Then there's a larger part of the group that takes impact. And I believe that is where 21K school would want to venture. I think one of the important point to note is that one of the most affected Naxalite areas in Chhattisgarh, I think Dhanwad or somewhere. So that we had a first student, admission from that. We have students from Andaman Nicobar. Think about it. Anyone, from a top school teachers or even, someone who's taken a break, teachers who have great capacity, great learning, great love towards education are able to give that, across the spectrum. So teachers who are in Delhi are able to teach anyone from Andaman Nicobar, right? Or even though, think about it, we're in the most affected Naxalite city, right? So would any school go and set up that? But there are students, right, who would want, and now with, coming with proliferation of technology with 5G and everything, you have internet access everywhere. So we are trying to cut that divide. We are trying to bring that, saying that, actually quality education can go to, top masses people. So I think that is the vision that we want to go, reach more and more people, bring them, show them, that, show that what we can do. And as a pioneer, like I said, we are, I don't want to call we are Uber of education, right? But we are a niche, or we are the first mover of entire schooling revolution that we have in India or probably world. Yeah.
Just to add to that, like if you take, like Joshi was mentioning, right? If you take rural sector of India, like there's no quality education there. There's lack of good schools taking classes, or like the teachers are lacking, or there's no adequate teachers in those sections. So now a teacher from Delhi or other rural sector can teach a student who is actually eager to learn and has access. All that he just needs is a good internet, and with India being digitalized, there's a good internet, and he just needs a laptop or a phone to get connected to our system. So that's what the ease of education we have to give it to the students. So that's where 21K school is trying to do.
Thank you, sir. That answer was really amazing. And I'm sure that 21K school has a really bright and amazing future.
I agree with Abhay, because with all of it happening in 21K school, the events up here, the events are coming, everything that's even being done in the school, I'm really sure that the future of the 21K school is going to be bright and progressive. Now, Mr. Joshi, did you have any skills that you acquired in your childhood that turned out to be really helpful in your career?
In career or at 21K school?
Career.
Um,
Both maybe. If you-
yeah, probably I'm always curious. I think I'm like curious in everything, right? So right from making fun of people, right from so Dinesh and me are we are cousins actually. So we're going to go long back. So there's a lot of banter between us. We make a lot of fun. There's literally stories and stories. So I was always curious about. Probably I think that curiosity in me has always pushed me in learning new things, exploring, failing, learning, success. Yeah, probably curiosity is the top thing that I think I take back from my childhood.
Oh, what about you, Mr. Dinesh?
I think I learned about like not taking failures too what said too hard. Like the reason I say is like if you take about failures and you start working like getting back down, right, you cannot never come up. So that's one thing which I learned in childhood. Like I was not a Joshi is a very studious kid. Like when as he was growing up, Joshi and Santosh are my cousins, and we were always so Joshi and Santosh were taken as the example in our family. Like, oh, you have to be like Joshi or you have to be like Santosh. So that's where so we they were like the examples in the family. So as we grew up, like I was a very naughty child when I was growing up. So I had a lot of failures. I got up, like I never give up on failures. So even if anything, like example, right, we had an outage that day, we all didn't give up. Like we thought, okay, we can fix it. Like having an outage on the first day is just bad for the school and bad for the reputation. But it would have taken all of us to just give up and go. But we sat day and night, and we all worked towards it and getting it up. So that's what I would say we learned, and that's what I learned. And I always try to say, like to anyone, like failure is a setting stone for next success.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah,
that both of
just
your
to set
childhood.
just to set the record straight, I think it's my brother, it's not me,
No.
who's a set of examples. So I think Dinesh is also, is always looked for examples. So it's just not me. Just to set the record straight.
And you
Yeah,
don't want to get into argument with Joshi. He is one of the funniest guys we have in the family. Like you have to chat with him. Like he will pull your leg to the core, and then you will just want to like stop talking, Joshi. Please don't do this anymore. So he's one of the funniest guy I know.
yeah. By the looks of it, your childhood was really fun, and I hope I also have. So, any advice you both would give to students or entrepreneurs listening to the podcast? Dinesh sir?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you. Yeah.
Sorry. Could you repeat the question? My mic just went down.
Any advice you would give to students or entrepreneurs listening to the podcast?
Uh, I think hard work, patience, and relentlessness. I think that's the three things what we have learned in 21K school. Like keep trying. I think I've told this to Joshi also. Many people might say that this won't work or this might not succeed, but they kept trying it. We kept trying it, and they succeeded. So I would say, no, there'll be 100 people saying it won't work, but keep trying it is what that's what I've learned in 21K school, and I'm pretty sure all of us have learned there.
Yeah, that's quite an amazing philosophy, truly. Joshi sir, any advice you would give?
Something along the similar lines. I would say that uh, don't be a typecast, right? So people might tell you that these are your careers that you need to follow. I think I mean, like in my family, both Dinesh and I would agree. We've been told that this is what you intend to do and this is what you have to do, right after school, engineering and things like that. It's okay. What I would say is it's okay to deviate, right? And in order to do that, of course, we all come from families where people would want us to achieve A, B, C. That's fine. But what I say, during the journey of ABC, always try to have a side project, right? Always have something that you want to learn. So at any point in time, if you want to break that mold and you say that, I think I want to do something of my own, then you have that passion, you have that understanding. So it's very difficult to go against, preconceived notions or norms, right? But always have that courage and have that backing of yourself that you want to do something. And always talk to people. One of the bigger challenges are that I see among my friends is that we don't talk to people enough, right? So if I don't know anything, in India, probably, while growing up, probably I didn't seek much help, right? Probably we should talk to more people, right? And once we talk more to the people, we'll get to know more. We'll get to know what we don't know. It's fine. It's fine. As long as, so that seeking help, speaking to people, finding right mentors, I think these are some of the things I think I would appreciate people as young as you guys to, to build, have that capability or capacity.
Well, that was a really amazing piece of advice, and I'm sure it'll help all of our listeners a lot.
Yeah, even
Now-
I'm gonna try and implement that in my daily life at least.
Nice.
Now, a personal favorite, and I always wanted to ask this question, which is to both of you: what's your preferred tech stack that you have always used? And what's the tech stack that's implemented in the website and the board?
Joshi, do you want to take it?
Okay, sure. I'll take the question reverse. So our website is built on React Gatsby. So Gatsby is a flavor of React that's built on that. There's no backend, and we host all solutions into AWS Cloud. So that's pretty much for website. Now for LMS, it's pretty complex. So we have a LAMP architecture, which is what predominantly I think Facebook runs on, which is Linux, Apache, PHP, and MySQL. So it's called LAMP. So the website is built on PHP, of course, hosted from Amazon. Our cloud recordings are directly driven from Zoom. Until then, we push it back to our AWS S3 cloud and use a CloudFront to display it. So that answers both the questions on what the tech stack. On my personal favorite for tech stack, I think it would be I would be doing a injustice to say pick any tech stack, because I've used most of all the programming languages, from Python, from C++. So when I was in school, I learned C++. But never that time, it was all I just used to mug it up. I never knew the for loop had to have 2 curly braces. You won't believe. So I used to mug it up. So I think curiosity in me for programming came in my 3rd year of college, probably I would say undergrad. So I wouldn't want to pick any particular programming languages as a tech stack, but I would say that number 1 choice for me would be Python now. But a few years later, you never know, right? Programming languages are evolving. A few years back, it was C#, which is Microsoft C#, but now it's Python. Yeah, other than that, I love APIs. So in my tech stack, I love APIs. So anything that APIs can get done, I'm a fan of that. So I always look for, whenever we're speaking to new content providers, new software people, or the vendors, we always ask is what APIs do you have? And if you see Century Tech, CodeMonkey, and Oxford, whichever we have right now, is in some ways powered using APIs. Right? So that is something that will probably, from a user experience, from a student experience, we're trying to evolve constantly. So next year, you will probably see something different as well.
Well, I'm learning React and JavaScript, and I think React is a really great framework, and that Facebook has actually made such a great achievement by making it. And what about you, Mr. Dinesh?
So like Joshi mentioned, right, we all learned C++, like bugged up the I think palindrome programs and all those programs what they teach in engineering. So I remember mugging them up for interviews and stuff. But as you grow in your career, right, you kind of understand like that doesn't work. You have to be logical. So I believe in the concept that no programming language matters. It's all about what logical. If you know the algorithm, you can write pretty much. It's all about, you can Google the syntax of a program and you can write it. So it's all about logical. Logical reasoning and algorithm. So that's what I worry about. So I like Python and Go. Like some of my projects have been in Go. And in terms of the architecture, I prefer Kubernetes and Docker containers and microservices. Like it's pretty much what Joshi was saying, that APIs are thing. So containers and Kubernetes is what I prefer, and that's what I write code and most of it for.
Wow, that's really amazing.
I know. I don't know if you guys have heard about Dockers and containers, but I know it's too early for you guys. But as you guys go, you'll. That's, I would say, containers are, Kubernetes was built by Google. So most of the Google search engine is running on Kubernetes and Docker containers. So probably after this call, you guys can go read about it and understand what that is.
Yeah,
Well, I have used Docker. I mean, I have learning it. I'm learning
nice.
everything. So I
Nice.
have used it in some of my projects. Hard to understand, but I'm still pushing to learn the system.
Yeah.
And
That's really great. Like,
Mom also
Fantastic
introduced
for
me
a-
to Kubernetes. Yeah.
So that's fantastic. No, an 8th grader is able to run. Dinesh, what were we
yeah,
doing? What were
yeah.
we
I
doing?
mean, so I'm really surprised that you actually know containers, because at 8th standard, I don't even know if I knew what programming language were. Like
Exactly.
I mean, 10, 15 years back, yeah, I have no idea if I knew anything in language. Even
Super
when
proud.
sometimes I go back, right, I'm like, in engineering, did I know these are growing and they're learning new things as they grow in the school? And I think the Code Monkey integration and all those things which 21K School has been doing is helping everyone up.
Yeah.
And we're
I've heard
super
awesome
proud.
feedback from classmates too.
We are super proud that you guys have at least know, and we are super proud and that to know that students of 21K School be part of curriculum or outside curriculum are able to do all this. So that's a fantastic testament, I think I would say. And yeah, cheers to you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Sir.
I think it goes back to the question you asked, right? Where do you want 21K School to be? This is one of the examples, right? Like 8th grader knowing containers or programming language is what we want everyone in India to know, or every 8th grader or every 7th grader should know as they grow programming, because the next decade is about technology and growth. So every Indian knowing, every children growing knowing technology will help a lot.
And for viewers at home, a tech stack is a set of frameworks and languages used to build an application or a website. And I would also like to thank both of you, sirs, for your valuable insight on the question.
Okay, thanks.
Now, I have a question that I would really love to hear your opinion on. Now, the students at large are inclining towards esports and the world of gaming and gaming competitions. And as you might even know that esports, the industry of esports is increasing so much that it even hit the 1 billion mark. So what's your opinion on it? Mr. Joshi.
So
Okay, go ahead, Dinesh.
go ahead, Joshi. Yeah, I'll go after that.
So I think I'm a fan of games, right? So it's important because for me, it's an outlet, right? So whenever I'm stressed or something, I just take my PS and then, play around. Even my phones, I have some F1 games installed and I do it. It's important, but there's always that fine gap that everyone should realize. And when kids are young, right? So when I was young, I was unfettered. So there was no, there was no limit, there's nothing, but my parents used to always, and my mother, I always tell her she's a super mom, right? So me and my brother, we are afraid of my mother. So she brought us up very well. I mean, like in terms of, she didn't give much of us freedom, right? In terms of these games and other things like that. So from a young age, probably for me, that was in some ways knew where I need to stop. What are the boundaries, right? When do I need to stop? And because probably I was not exposed to all these things when I was a young child, probably as and when I grew, I knew how much time to dedicate for that. Okay, I may be wrong, right? So people might have a different opinion. But the crux of the thing that I want to emphasize is that know your limits, right? So for example, if you're spending 2 hours in it or 4 hours in it, whatever is it, right? Make sure that is it worthwhile. Yeah, it's like catharsis, right? So you get out of something, you get something out of it, but at the same time, ensure that you are able to dedicate your time elsewhere. It could be studies, it could be sports, right? Other physical sports or anything you like to do. So that is what something, and I believe that there's a lot of mental health problem as well going on. People going into digital, people going into games and everything, and then people as young as then probably if they are not able to take losing in a game, that takes a lot with them. I think it's a fine balance that you have to keep reinforcing, and without self-motivation, I don't think anything else would play a major factor here. Yeah, but I think definitely people need all aspects. They should be exposed to all the aspects. So there's nothing called. I wouldn't say anything is taboo. So everything that you should experience in life, you should know, and then you should have your own judgment whether it's right or wrong, and then you have that optimal level of to maintain on that. Yeah, probably not most short answer, but I think that's my take. Yeah.
Oh,
Just continuing with what Joshi was saying. I'm not a big time gamer. Like, I think my gaming stopped when I was in 10th or 12th grade, and after that, I've never got interest in playing games. So I just play some casual games and at times. But like Joshi was saying, like, you need to know the right balance there, like when to stop and when to concentrate on other things. And I also encourage things like outdoor games and other things. Also had a lot, like, it helps in a lot of mental stress and things. If you go play a game outside, you're currently the lot of children just spend a lot of time in front of a digital computer and things like that. So taking a break and doing out things also helps in a lot of things. So esports is a good thing. I mean, I have worked in those industries, so my past experience has been in a gaming company. So I know. I mean, even though I'm not a gamer, yeah, I've been there. So it's a good thing. I think in India is also getting into a lot of esports and things like that. But you need to know, like, right balance between when to focus on that and when to focus on other things, and not take it to to the heart when you lose in a game.
well, I kind of agree with your advice, considering that when a lot of people lose, they start rage quitting, they start throwing stuff, and all of that happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is necessary to have a balance in everything, even if it's gaming, because you can't stress yourself. And moving on, what do you like to do in your free time?
Um, just watch movies and yeah, just watch movies and movies and TV shows. And I'm not a big book reader, but I try to read some books. But mostly it's just TV shows and movies.
Mr. Joshi.
Yeah, same. I think I also would, love to watch movies because those are the times I get to catch up on my shows and things like that.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of sitcoms, so there's always one or other episode releasing every week. So I got to do that. And when I have to go outdoors, I probably like to fly drones. So I like to invest a lot in that. Creating movies, having that. So I think that's been my recent passion for the past couple of years. But now that increasingly Singapore and everywhere they're regulating, so you need to seek permission. Earlier it was recreational. You can simply take it, and probably if it's an open ground, you can go and fly. But now you need to seek permission from government, right? No fly zones and things like that. So yeah, probably I might lose it in a couple of years, but yeah.
Mr. Joshi, I'm sure that you both have been involved in any previous business ventures. So, would you like to share your experience?
Not much. I think this is the first venture we've.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good. So, when you
We
reflect
have
back
known
on
each
your
other for a
past,
long time. This is the first business venture we got into together.
Together.
that's
Yes.
so when you reflect back on the past, uh, when you both met, what was your first impression of each other?
We are cousins, so we go back long way, right? So
Yeah,
we've
it's
grown
like-
up together.
So it's like
We've grown up
we
together. Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's like we know each other from childhood. So I can't even I don't even have an answer for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to have a different take, we knew each other. So see, when you're cousins, right, you don't talk about work or anything else. You just talk about, or where do we go, what do we. But probably in the last 1.5 years, I think, in exactly last June, Santosh was like, hey, we are running a webinar. So you and Dinesh, come and speak about it. Me and him, right? So me and Dinesh, at least, we don't probably come out in front of these things and speak. Santosh and Yashwant, they predominantly talk a lot. So they, so we both are probably internal guys, and they both are. I would say that it's not. So they told us, come and give a webinar, and we were like, okay, how do we go a webinar? So probably that was the time first we started speaking about entrepreneurship, work, things like that. But outside of it, we've never, probably, yeah, how is your college and things like that once you move to US, how things are. So apart from that, yeah, nothing much.
Good. Now, do any of you like to read?
I do some casual reading, but not like I used to, but not anymore. I just listen to audiobooks anymore some nowadays. Like, yeah, not anymore.
I do, yeah.
What's your favorite book?
I don't read fictional, all non-fictional.
Yeah, it can be non-fictional also.
Oh, I like blockchain books recently. So wherever I
Dinesh, sir?
go in my Christmas list, everything I've told them, give me blockchain books and things like that. Yeah.
Are you taking 21K school into Web 3.0, Joshi?
Actually, there's plan. Actually, what I was thinking a couple of days back is that probably we should start. I think I've not announced to anyone, even not even to Santosh. This is just a vague thought in my mind that we should be building and we should be rewarding our students whenever they're completing any task or any work, right? We should be giving them, we probably will have a own coin for us now that, a lot of regulations are coming back in India. You could probably, think of launching a coin, 21K coin, and then students, whenever they are performing and they're rewarding, we can give them rewards. We can also build an NFT platform for them. And you won't believe a lot of arts comes out from students, right? Every day. And we have 120 sections. People day in and day out, they draw, they do all kinds of shit. So we could build up, kind of integrate an NFT platform for them to, sell out those stuffs which they're creating. So I think if everything goes well, I think probably 21K school would be the first school in the world to be, powered or use blockchain or the decentralized way of, working. Yeah, but everything is, everything is in my mind. So nothing concrete yet. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the nudge, Dinesh.
Yeah, that's an exclusive for the podcast.
Correct. I didn't even think of telling it, but since he told me, I got reminded. Then okay, probably I could say that in podcast. Yeah, but there's a lot
Yeah,
of work. We have to
I
write
had
a
a
lot of
similar.
white paper. We'll have to write a lot of white papers. We have to research a lot. So yeah, it's not that easy. So we'll want to be the world's first school. Till now, we are India's first online school. Now we want to go global. We want to be world's first online or a school to introduce blockchain or NFTs or any kinds of decentralized applications, right? Where students are rewarded. So now, right now, students are rewarded based on points, which is just stops at the gamification level. What if students can earn, right? So every works they do, so that pushes them to the next level, right? And that kinds of reward systems are there for them. Yeah. Yeah, Dinesh, sorry, I cut you off there somewhere.
No, yeah, that's what I was thinking in the same terms in terms of content delivery. Like, how do you decentralize content such a way that it's accessible to more like the other sections where the internet is not reached, right? Like, how do you make sure the content is delivered in more decentralized way? So that's what I was looking Web3 for.
Even I've read a lot about Web3, Bitcoin, decentralized applications, blockchains, and even I'm really excited for the future, what Web 3.0 will present.
You guys
And
are actually making us feel super proud that eighth graders are talking about blockchain and containers and other things.
Super proud and inferior, just add that.
Yeah, exactly.
well, I do own some Bitcoin Cash that I was able to mine. I put my PC to a lot of stress, but I got it. And I think the idea of making it decentralized is just really amazing on how you want to like take 21K and place it upon blockchain. It's really amazing.
That the user owns their data. Web
Yeah.
3.0.
Exactly. We want to be in our own league of our own, right? So by the time people would want to look up us, and do something, then we'll be in another league. So that's an idea. And one important thing that probably I think Dinesh would also agree is that there's always this wave. For example, when I started college, right? So it was in 2008. So that time Java or probably Java was probably the prevalent languages, right? And when I came to Singapore, I started my master's. Cloud computing was picking up. But if you see, so right now, Java, maybe it would be in the top 10 sought after, but Python. So there's always this wave every 4 or 5 years, or probably 6 years or a decade. There's a wave that, you see new technologies coming in. And blockchain, way back from 2017, 2015, there's a lot of noise, and would be adopted by 2025 and 2030. So whatever you are studying right now would be obsolete by the time you guys go to college. You
Yeah.
get the context. So you will have to constantly evolve, constantly start learning, because you might think that you might have put your heart and soul to learn about blockchain, or even say Kubernetes or containers now. But by the time you guys go to college, which is 4 years, right, the dynamic shift would have been so much, right? So you no longer. So for example, when we used to study about cloud, right, or Java, we used to write Java codes. Then came frameworks, meaning you don't need to write. We are giving you templates. So by the time we came in, right, so even for clouds, right, you need to first spin off. Now you get cloud formation, you get a couple of other things where with just one click of anything. Dinesh is very big fan of running infrastructure as a code. He doesn't want to even touch console. He just wants to write code, and then that code will deploy resources. So way back in 2015, that was not the case. 2012, that was not the case. So there's a constant evolving. So I'm telling you guys, but don't get disheartened. That's how technology works, right? So way back when I think I vividly remember Dinesh was the first person who showed me N72, the phone. I think you wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the Nokia phone, and they didn't have WhatsApp or anything. It was a pre pre
In the iPhone
WhatsApp
era, I
era.
think.
Correct. So now if you look back, Nokia is nowhere. Nokia were a leader when we were young, and now Nokia is nowhere. So think of all these points, and always that that there's always a frontier for you to push. Yeah,
Technology is always evolving, and we need to be in the front
absolutely,
lines of it.
100%.
Yeah, and it's current is evolving faster than what it was evolving when me and Joshi were studying, because internet has penetrated everywhere, and with 4G, 5G coming in, it's evolving faster than what it was doing maybe 10 years back or 15 years back.
Totally
Well,
true.
well, I agree because we need to evolve as technology evolves. So yeah. Now, do you have any book recommendations for the students out there who are listening to you? Mr. Dinesh?
Sorry, did you ask book recommendation?
Yeah.
I have been listening to audiobook of Peter Thiel called 0 to 1. It's about Peter Thiel is one of the founders of PayPal. So like how we found PayPal, and like how like he has something called Thiel Foundation. So like he helps founders and he mentors founders and entrepreneurs. So that's one book I'm like listening to now. Like I said, I tend to know, I don't read. I listen to most of the audiobooks. So that's one book I would recommend now. It's called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel.
Seems like an interesting read.
Yeah.
And what
And
about you?
I'm still halfway into the book, and I'm still not done it. And there's one more book also, which is very apt to COVID. It's called I don't know what the book name is. It's called The Great Influenza. Correct. It was about the 1930 influenza, which is it's about that. When I was reading the book, I realized the similarity between all the mistakes with what they did in 1930. We are doing the same mistakes in 2020 with COVID and other things. So it follows the same pattern. So that was an interesting read for me. It's a pretty book, but it's way back in 1930s. It is about the 1930 influenza.
Yeah. My dad has also recommended me to read 0 to 1. I haven't got
Yeah.
around to it yet, but maybe soon. And I think I've heard of the Great Influenza.
Yeah.
Joshi sir?
For me, I think I would recommend a lot of books, but one book that has always moved me and probably impacted me for what I am today is Outliers. It's by Malcolm Gladwell. So he is one of the authors. I always find his books very interesting, and I always purchase them and have it as a keepsake. It's called Outliers, so you can read about it. It's one of the fantastic books. It will tell you why Bill Gates or Steve Jobs were successful, but not someone who were just born just 5 years after that. So it's a very wonderful insight. And what do these outliers do? And right, so what do you mean by outliers is, so in terms of mathematics, so if you are clubbing numbers, right? So 1 to 10. If there's a number called 40 or there's a number called minus 20, so those are called outliers. And it's a wonderful book. I think everyone should read, and that's impacted me a lot. So outliers is my recommendation for you guys.
I'm pretty sure that these books that you have recommended sure seems like a really great read, and all the titles also seem interesting. And I'm pretty sure that after the podcast, I'm probably gonna go and read it if I have the chance to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So I know that this is completely a personal choice, but what do you prefer, Mac OS or Windows? Mr. Dinesh?
Mac
Mac.
OS. I think
Same here.
I switched to Mac OS maybe way back in 10 years back, and I've never moved back.
Yeah, Dinesh is the influence for me to move to Mac. Yeah, simple as that. To be honest, yeah, he got the first Mac. Then I think my brother gifted me the first Mac. Of course, for for other work related purposes, we were forced to use Windows and things like that. But even now, I've changed probably 2 MacBooks, so it's always been MacBook. Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm a Mac fan completely.
Well, I kind of prefer
Be prepared
Windows.
be prepared for a war. So there are
Yeah.
Linux people, there are Windows people. So
Yeah, I've tried out Linux actually. I think Kali and Parrot OS. Even I like the user customizability.
developers, a lot of them like Linux. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Abhay was the one who told me to go into Linux, and it was kind of one of the best decisions because for like CTFs, it's like a really great operating system to work on. So makes sense, why everyone goes into different operating system for different reasons. Now, Mr. Dinesh, what interests you about marketing, and how did you get into the field?
Solomon creates this emphasis, kind of suspense. So Dinesh, cool. That's cool actually. Yeah.
So I think I'm. It is just a title for me, but I am more into the tech stack of things. I think Santosh and Yashwant are the marketing guys. Actually, I'm more into the back end infrastructure and other things. So I it's just an out of interest. I'm learning. I'm more of tech guy. Then I started learning slowly, and now I know basics of marketing. I wouldn't say I'm like an expert in marketing. I know like how AdWords work, how Facebook ads work, and things like that. But it's more of a title than anything else there.
Well, now, any role models you both look up to from a young age?
For me, it's Steve Jobs.
Same. Joshi sir?
Good question. I have not thought about anyone. Probably my father. Yeah.
Family is quite an important part of him.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Joshi, for sharing your experiences and wisdoms from the tech and marketing world.
We now have a small rapid fire round for you, so just brace yourself and answer in a few words. Dinesh sir, let's start with you.
Okay.
If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it?
Invest in one more startup.
Good. What is your favorite pastime activity? What is?
Photography.
What is your first job?
I was a software engineer in Arisent.
Do you work on Sundays?
Yeah, I do.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Social studies.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
all for Dinesh sir now.
I didn't know that last answer.
Yeah, so
I'm a big, I like history a lot. So social studies was like, still I tend to read all the history books and like try to know the history of things.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Mr. Joshi, I'm going to go ahead with the
Ready.
rapid round.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
Physics.
Cats or dogs?
Cats for me, but I don't like both of them as pets. Yeah.
What motivates you the most?
What?
Motivates you the most?
Failure.
Did you or do you still play games? If you do, what do you play?
Lot. Cricket.
Okay. And what's the first application or website that you build after learning the art of programming?
It was in my college. It was called Pen Pal. So we built kind of a device for people who are blind, and they can read, they can access newspaper anytime, anywhere. So just now it may be prevalent, but back then in 2008, it was probably kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite an amazing initiative.
Yeah, really amazing. And well, that wraps up, and we come to the end of the second episode of The Echo of 21K. I would like to thank everyone for tuning into this conversation with today's
Not yet. We do have some questions for you. I
Yeah.
don't think it's
Oh.
just in yet. Yeah. Come on. Do you
Sure.
think we would leave you like that? Right?
Oh, okay.
Cool. First, we'll start with rapid round, so I don't want to give you much time to think. What's the most difficult thing you've done in life? So my questions are to Solomon, and Dinesh should ask to Abhay. So what's the most difficult thing you've done in your life?
Probably making my first website. The most
Cool. And what is that?
That was my portfolio. I thought it'd be really nice if I could do that.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book. I actually don't have a favorite book. The Famous Five.
Okay, cool. Who's your favorite author?
Author. I actually forgot the author of the Famous Five. I'm actually not so sure.
Eric Titan, I think. Or
Yeah, I
the famous
think
Favorite movie?
movie. It's going to be Just Mercy.
Never heard. Sorry. Cool. Maybe one more. I don't want to go into controversial, so probably I'll behave my age. I think I'm done. Yeah, Dinesh.
Yeah. Same question. Cat or dogs?
None.
None? You don't like pets?
No.
Okay. Your favorite programming language?
Python.
Your role model?
Steve Jobs.
What inspires you to do things?
Friends.
Okay. What is the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Brush my teeth.
That's why it's a rapid question. Come on, Abhay.
Brush my teeth, and I just think about what happened the previous day, so that I don't forget. Sometimes.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Switch off the alarm. Yeah, that's first.
Didn't you make it up? Really?
Sometimes.
Just
Yeah.
pulling your leg.
And exercise. They got it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's it I had.
Okay, one rapid question to both of you. Morning person or a night person?
Morning. I can't be night because I can't stay up late.
Let's wait for a few years. We'll know then. Cross your schools, then you'll know whether you're a morning or a night person. Cool, guys. We were just joking. It was a wonderful having us. I think it's a wonderful initiative. I think I was telling Dinesh, these guys have gone beyond. Look at the logo they've made. And Dinesh was asking me yesterday, hey, do we need to prepare? I was telling, I don't know. Santosh and Yashwant had last week, and I got a feedback, they had, it was fun. And there were a lot of questions. There was like, I don't know what to say. Do you have anything? So we were just, quipping against each other. Yeah. Cool, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really amazing having a conversation with both of you.
Well, this was really, really amazing because, to be honest, I always wanted to talk to you because, I've been always into programming, and considering you have been there for such a long time, it's such an honor to be, having a podcast with you.
Same here, guys. Like, it was really fun getting to talk to you guys. And like, to be honest, as I go out of this call, right, I'm actually proud of what you guys have been doing. And getting to know an 8th grader knows these things is actually making us proud to do more better things and push 21K school further. And again, it's testimony to the leadership, the teachers who are teaching you every day, and also you guys who are actually learning and trying to implement those things in your life.
Well, that's a wrap up, and we come to the end of the second episode of The Echo of 21K. Thank you for tuning into this conversation with today's episode of Building 21K with the Founders. Thank you, Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Joshi, for taking your time out with us. This was an amazing and beautiful experience of sharing your valuable insight. It really means a lot. I hope we can have more conversations like this in the future. I also hope our listeners also enjoyed and benefited from your learnings.
Yeah, even I'm sure I'll have a conversation with you both maybe next time.
Dinesh is in Bangalore, so you could, probably he's coming back. So he's visiting India in Jan, so you can come and pick his brains, learn a lot from him. Yeah.
I'm moving to India in Jan, so I'll be there. Like you guys we can meet up and we can have we can have a chat at that time too.
You can create an adda in 21K adda in Bangalore.
Where's the office? Commercial Street. No,
Yeah.
MG Road.
Yeah, I would like to thank Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Joshi. It's an amazing experience today. And again, I hope we get to talk to you both again. And yeah, when you visit India, maybe we can all sit down for a chat.
Definitely.
That'd be really amazing.
Thanks, guys.
If you like this episode, please share with your friends and family. We would love to hear from you. Give us your feedback, suggestions, and write to us and follow us on our social media platforms and find us with the name 21K School for all the happenings at 21K School. The link is given in the description. We look forward to connecting with you all. Stay safe and stay tuned to the echo of 21K.
Thank you all and see you next time.